Jason.
Why? How could you do that to us? These men men lost their jobs. How could you not have told us earlier?
I'm totally kidding. Sort of.
No, you're not. See, this is what I'm talking about. We talked about it earlier about is Lane Kiffin rooting against. Was he rooting against Ole Miss last night? And you're like, you probably would have done that if they were your kids. So would you. So would you.
I would never root against them. Why? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, kind of just
doesn't make any sense.
Just like you were. I mean, I guess it does make sense. We want the scoop on that.
I wasn't. I want scoops, Jason. I want scoops. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that was a bloodbath yesterday at $1.
It was, and I'm telling you, Josh Grizzard was the one I thought was absolutely necessary. I mean, I thought. And
there's a few that were necessary.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, go back and look at my Canva yesterday. I said Todd Bowles said there's going to be changes. There needs to be several, and there were several. After Josh Grizzard was the first one that we heard about. We heard about really Josh Grizzard and Thad Lewis kind of side by side. Thad Lewis, the quarterback's coach, rough year for Baker Mayfield, and 2 out of the 3 years has been kind of so-so for Baker. So Thad Lewis gets let go as well. Thomas McGahee was the guy that everybody, every Buccaneer fan has been saying, how have we not fired him already? Like through, 2/3 of the season, it feels like. We've been waiting for Thomas McGahee to get fired, the special teams coordinator. He was let go as well yesterday. I had mentioned, I had heard that they were maybe pretty eager to let go of Charlie Strong. We found that out yesterday as well. The defensive line coach was let go, as well as cornerbacks coach Kevin Ross, also fired yesterday. And then Nick Rapone, the safeties coach, he decided he was going to retire, as has the legendary Tom Moore, who, of course, has been a senior offensive consultant here for years.
Incredible career, legendary career for the great Tom Moore.
We've talked about it. We talked about it during training camp, right around when Rick Stroud released his book on Tom Moore, which is, I imagine, fantastic. I don't read, but it's a fantastic book anyways. But
that's a weird promotion.
Well, like I said, I imagine it's fantastic. It's about Tom Moore. And
you said you imagine. I thought you said it's fantastic.
I
said
it is fantastic. I know just because
I'm with you. It probably is amazing.
It's written by Rick Stroud, and it's about Tom Moore. It's got to be very good. I just don't read. But listen, Ian and I were telling you yesterday, reading is very boring in the world that we're in today. With all of the information we have at our fingertips, why would we have to read it? That's insane.
If you get tired from does reading make you tired?
No, it makes me bored.
Yeah, so does boredom make you tired?
Why watch something instead? I can listen to something instead.
If you can never sleep, if you can't sleep, read a couple pages of a book. There you go. That's what the book is for in your life. Todd Bowles.
I don't know that would work.
Todd Bowles put a statement out yesterday. These decisions are always difficult, but the disappointing end of the season required some changes to our coaching staff in order to ensure we live up to the high standards we have set here. These coaches have all put in tremendous amount of work and effort, but unfortunately the results were not there this past season. Our goal is to compete for championships every year, and it is my responsibility to make these tough decisions in order to reach those expectations. I want to thank these coaches for all that they have contributed to our success over the years, and I wish them well. Scapegoats.
First of all, they are not scapegoats. I do.
For him, they are.
I don't. Listen. Is there anybody on this list that you're like, I can't believe that guy was let go? He should still have a job.
No, but if there's that many bad apples, and I use that in the sense of word as bad coaching, not bad people, how do you not hold Todd Bowles accountable for that at the top? How does he still have the job?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Not that these guys are scapegoats, because this is what happens when you retain a coach who didn't do a great job. And that happens around the NFL, like it does. But when I was listening to you read that, it's like, and when I read it myself yesterday, it strikes me as ironic, because he has to know if indeed he's the one who typed that out and it wasn't like, yeah, put out this statement for me that says, and I'm sure he did. But if you're writing that and you're Todd Bowles, he's a smart guy, and I feel like he's got some self-awareness. And I know the kind of questions he was answering to the media just a few days ago, right? Like at the end of the season, there was a lot of questions for Todd Bowles about his job security and his coaching staff. As if you're writing that statement, it's got to strike you as kind of ironic that, like, read like the beginning part again for me, please.
These decisions are always difficult, but the disappointing end of the season required some changes to our coaching staff in order to ensure we live up to the high standards we have set here.
It sounds eerily similar to what I've heard from and what you've heard from 1,000 Buccaneer fans about Todd Bowles, right? Like, this is the statement that everyone's been making about Todd Bowles is like, great guy. I know he put in a lot of hard work, but guess what? The results were terrible, and we need change.
Yeah.
And then he's going to turn around and write that about coaches he's firing. And again, I don't think there's somebody on this list that I would, like I said yesterday about Kevin Carberry. I'm like, that guy should not lose his job, and I hope he doesn't. If he'd have gotten fired, I would have said, I think that's a mistake. I can't point at anybody on this list and go, how did that guy get fired? This is a mistake.
And I agree with you on that, except Todd Bowles might have to be on that list too.
But he's not. He's not. And listen, I understand people's frustration, and I'm not going to argue that he shouldn't have gotten let go. But at this point, he hasn't been let go. It sounds like he's not going to be let go. So we got to start to focus on what's next for this football team. Like, I hope we're not going to, and I'm not talking about you, but from a fan base standpoint, from the people who call and text this show, I hope we're not going to spend an entire offseason with every move, Buccaneers hire blank as offensive coordinator, and the replies on the text line and the calls are about, why is it they should have fired Todd Bowles anyway? Like, I hope we're not going to have that conversation all offseason long, because I think most of us think he probably should have been let go. He wasn't. Now we got to figure out what's next. And with the exception of the handful of fans who are actually going to follow through on not watching or showing up for games because they're not happy with Todd Bowles being here, the rest of us have to figure out how the hell to move forward. That's all we can do.
We'll come up with a couple names for potential look at offensive coordinator coming up at 7 o'clock. If let's say Todd Bowles, who usually has a good start to the season, let's say Todd Bowles has a bad start to the season. The Bucs have a rough start. Typically, not the MO of the Glazers to fire a coach midseason. I personally think, Pat, and I wonder what you think, would they do that? Like in this situation with Todd Bowles.
You said I think, and then you put out a
I
question.
think that,
what do you think they would?
I think they would.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs would, the Glazers, if it starts bad, really bad for Todd Bowles next year, they'd fire him in the middle of the season, which they typically don't do.
If there was a guy out there floating around that, let's say Harbaugh decides I'm taking a year off. He does interviews next week, goes, you know what, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to try the TV thing. I'm going to come back and coach next year. If there's a guy like that floating around that you're just like, we got to get him before anybody else can, maybe, but I doubt it. And I'm, me, I'm not in support of it either. If you're going to not fire